Welcome to HDTV. You're now rocking with your boy. Joe Biden has had a decades-long habit of making overtly racist remarks, taking discriminatory positions, and cavorting with known racist things that would get anyone to his political right tossed out of polite society. But being on the left must make it okay. Just a year ago, while lamenting the difficulty in convincing many Latinos and blacks to take the googly moogly or the jab, he committed a series of racially charged blunders that barely registered in the corporate media's consciousness. Biden white explained that Latinos in America resist jabs, or the googly moogly, I like to call it, because they're worried that they'll be jabbed and deported. The statement makes the insane assumption that all Latinos present in this country are illegal aliens subject to expulsion. It never occurred to Biden that more than 60 million Latinos are actually American citizens, according to recent census figures. And this is census, I believe, from last year. While insulting such a sizable segment of their population, Biden actually went further. He referred to this group of people as Latinx, which is Latinx, which is a term invented by woke academics who objected to gender-specific words in the Spanish language. Just 3% of Latinos use Latinx to describe themselves, and less than a quarter have even heard of the term. According to the Pew Research Center, many find it to be an offensive bastardization of the Spanish language. Here, Biden is almost certainly unaware of what he's saying and has simply repeated what a liberal on his staff has instructed him to say. But there are plenty of examples where Biden should not receive the benefit of the doubt. In the same breath as his Latinx comment, Biden lectured about the fears that blacks may have of the jab, attempting to point to historically shameful episodes when they were subjected to inhumane medical experiments. They are used to being experimented on, the Tuskegee Airmen and others, Biden said. In this, he confused legendary World War II fighter pilots with a long, notorious governmental study of syphilis among black men, the Tuskegee experiment. It does not take much effort to imagine the media's reaction if Donald Trump had mangled so many racial issues in one press conference. Examples dating back to his campaign for president and earlier abound. On Charlemagne the God's popular morning radio show in May 2020, Biden infamously asserted to the largely black audience that if they were unsure of whether to vote for him or Trump, then you ain't black. Then in August 2020, Biden told a gathering of black and Hispanic journalists that unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. Taken together, these statements clearly suggest that Biden believes all black people think alike. In the same interview responding to a question on whether he had taken a cognitive test, Biden angrily fired back with the suggestion that the black reporter was a drug addict. That's like saying you, before you got in this program, you're take sick a test whether you're taking cocaine or not, Biden said. What do you think, huh? Are you a junkie? Put these words into Mitch McConnell's mouth and try to envision how long he'd be allowed to remain in Senate, let alone in a leadership position. But Biden has been getting away with this for years. In 2010, he warmly eulogized Senator Robert Byrd, a former exalted Cyclops in the Ku Klux Klan, saying he was one of my mentors and that the Senate is a lesser place for his going. In 2007, he referred to Barack Obama as the first mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean. In 2006, he said, you cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donut unless you have a slight Indian accent. Way back in 1977, he said that forced busing to desegregate schools would cause his children to grow up in a racial jungle. Of course, he infamously worked with segregationist senators to oppose that mandatory busing, which decades later led to the strongest moment in Kamala Harris' campaign for president, when she blasted him as having personally impacting her as a young girl. And over the course of his entire career, he had kind words to say about staunchly segregationist senators. Any one of these statements or episodes would have been enough to sink the political career of any conservative in Washington D.C., against whom tenuous accusations of racism are commonplace and occur almost daily. But Joe Biden, who has a lifetime of them, is now president of the United States. On some days and in some ways, it must be good to be on the left. So I just had to remind a lot of the older black people who are older than me, and this isn't a dig at them. You guys promote a man who has had a history of racism and prejudice towards black Americans and as well as Latinos and Latinas. And this has been going on for years. This was in 1977 he said these type of things. You heard this, right? People say, I remember my mom. I love my mom to death, but she's brainwashed. She came out and said that, yes, he said some racist things, but he's changed. No, they haven't changed. See, that's that bullshit Christianity that they put on our people. They make us docile and very soft where we're not able to fight back. And a lot of people, I feel their views that, man, if we vote, they just gonna select somebody anyway. Yeah, that's fine, but if they want you to think like that, we're the reason that Biden's racist ass is in office. Seriously, we're the reason. We're the reason he's in office. And then people will be like, well, you must have liked Trump. I ain't like Trump either, because Trump is a businessman. He's going to sell somebody out to make sure his business is good, which is business for himself, not business for the United States of America, which is a corporation. He's going to sell them out to different countries. As you see what's going in Ukraine, why U.S. isn't so gun-ho to jump over there, because Trump took them off the list of being an enforcer for, I think that's what it is, an enforcer for Ukraine. They could have supplied the army to help Ukraine. But they can't jump into it because they would be breaking laws. That's why they're trying to go through NATO and the United Nations and all that so they could do it. And then Joe Biden has been giving all this damn money to them while our infrastructure continues to struggle, which I was arguing with my mother and other people today who are so-called in politics, but they sound like the whack-ass news that keeps feeding them BS for them to keep coming with this at us, the younger generations. And see, this is what they're scared of, that the younger generations will all come together to work together. Whites, blacks, Latinos, Latinas, and Indians, every other race, Asians, we all come together. They don't want that. If we all come together and become one, then it would change a lot of things, but they don't want that. So I just put this out here, man, for people to see this. I think people are blind. Just because I don't like Joe Biden doesn't mean that I like Donald Trump. No, he was a piece of shit too. I don't like neither of them. So let me know in the comment section what you feel or think about this. Thank you for listening. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this. Hit that notification bell to select all so you can receive upcoming notifications. And if you guys love what you hear, man, you guys can go to the description box, hit the Cash App link, and hey, hit the Cash App link and everything, and you could go to my Cash App and donate whatever you're willing to give. And when we do a video that's live or is premiering, you guys can super chat. So thank you guys for listening. We out. Deezy.